You can't go very far at all across the city before you come across armed checkpoints or heavily armed Taliban fighters on patrol. These men are in a vehicle that they got from the former Afghan police services.
Senior correspondent Norris Trent is with us. Catherine, what's the latest?
Well, Francois, Kabul is still reeling from news of these explosions, these attacks. I was not far from the vicinity of the airport myself at the time and can confirm we heard those explosions, and it was followed by gunfire. And then, as you can imagine, by scenes of panic.
An hour's drive west of Kandahar. Every week, opium farmers come to sell their harvest. Ahmed negotiates with the poppy farmers and drug smugglers to let us in to film. Under the stalls, bags of opium paste, traders haggling for deals. They're crammed in with no food, water, life jackets or blankets. The migrants had risked it all to escape Libya.
But as the sun sets, they're being taken back to Tripoli.
We're told migrants here often throw themselves back into the water to try and escape. Libya's immigration brigades decide to take the men away to overcrowded detention centres. Another victim carried from the wreckage of a flattened home. And crushing grief pours out onto the streets of Ganja, Azerbaijan's second city. Survivors tell us a missile hit their residential neighbourhood in the early hours of the morning.
And as the bodies keep on being pulled out of the rubble, we can see the clear human cost of this strike. Huge questions are going to come in the coming hours and days about the diplomatic costs as well. We've come to northeastern Nigeria, the birthplace of Boko Haram. The Nigerian army has managed to push back the jihadist group in recent years, but it still has terror cells throughout this region and carries out frequent suicide bomb attacks. Ever since the huge fire ripped through Notre Dame, this ancient cathedral has been turned into a giant building site. Inside Notre Dame, the extent of the damage really becomes clear. You can see on the floor here behind me, that's from where the spire of the cathedral collapsed, fell through the roof and hit the floor on that fateful night. These were the most intense clashes between yellow vest protesters and police for several weeks. There were tense standoffs along the Champs-Élysées Avenue here. These clashes show there is still an anger simmering in France. Norris Trent for CNN in Paris.
Norris Trent joins me now live from Paris with more on this. And Catherine, I was quite surprised that these nationwide mayoral elections are still going ahead as planned despite the lockdown.
Yeah, that's right, Linda. We know that turnout in these local elections so far, as of midday French time, was down markedly. It's extremely difficult for the international aid agencies to keep track of just how many people have fled their homes, but they estimate the number is well over 1 million. That's around a quarter of the Central African Republic's population.
Libya! 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 Libya!
Insurgents are regrouping because they're still coming under attack from pro-Gaddafi troops. Mortar shells are landing right in the city centre.
The south of Libya is a paradise for smugglers. Weapons, drugs and immigrants flow through this strategically vital stretch of desert. Supply territory for the local wing of Al-Qaeda. Controlling it is a nightmare for authorities. They now have to police the massive flow of illegal immigrants hoping to make it to Europe. The migrants are parked in camps, not under lock and key, but miles out in the desert, in the searing hot sun.